My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SEM Postgraduate Masterclass. In this particular lecture, I am going to discuss with you the importance of simulation as a part of the surgical training for our postgraduate residents, because we are already in the era of minimal access surgery, be it endoscopic and laparoscopic surgery. Because when you look back hundreds of years ago, the surgical training is mainly like an apprenticeship, like a Halstonian time. You need to patiently just sit there, watch hundreds of cases being done, then you have to go and assist and then try to learn all the tricks of the trade. But we are now going in this stage of the medical revolution, from open surgery to laparoscopy, now even a robotic surgery, as you can see. And we all know, especially when you are coming as a fresher to the OT, especially when the laparoscopic surgery is performed, the difficulty or the challenges, because you have to operate on a 2D image, long instruments, and a telescopic or video assisted surgery. It gives the challenges, and it is easily done. It is not as if you are just sitting and eating a pizza. So you need to spend your time, something like a lab trainer, trying to get this skill. In other words, you need to have this new learned skill by this coaxial, optical, and also your motor skills. They are in alignment, and the days are gone where we need to do this surgeon is seeing with the endoscopy, and you have an attachment with that, you are with the difficulty you are able to see, and this lady in assisting doesn't know exactly what they are doing or what they are seeing. That is those days. But nowadays things have changed. So what we are trying to do nowadays in the teaching, trying to teach everything in the patient based training or environment is going to be more challenging. So we need to take at least part of the training to the simulation based scenario, because it is already happening, especially in the training of the pilots. You know, the pilots spend hundreds of hours in a simulators like this, and they feel it is a very best reliable and efficient way of training. But we can't say the same thing with our surgical training, because we need a really realistic, high fidelity training models. So we need to take all our postgraduates from OT to surgical OT to what I call a surgical skill lab, as like this, whether it is going to be digital or animal lab. So let me just go through the benefits of a skill lab. First of all, the patient, they deserve the best, so we can't treat them as a guinea pigs. So we need to train ourselves before you do the first case. Second, when you are going to do a lap appendix, you need to get familiarized with the steps. For that, at least a simulation exercise is a good thing. And also the same or similar tools are used here also in the simulation. So you know your tools, you know your team, and it is a less expensive way rather than assisting hundreds of cases, and you can do whenever you have some free time. So there is a flexibility in the training. So there are obvious benefits of this skill lab or this simulation based training. All we wanted to do as a trainer is to bring you from the competent incompetence to the competence that is conscious competence. So this is what we are going to do, and we use various modality. A dry lab is available, wet lab, and live surgery models. Let me take you through one by one. One of the commonest simulation based training is by using what I call the low fidelity, all the lab boxes, like small boxes available, and video assisted surgery, like getting the 2D 3D depth perception, and also trying to do suturing, everything, knotting and suturing, all can be done with the dry model. The same box, you can film some tissue and you try to dissect, like a peeling an orange skin, or trying to suture two parts of the bowel from the animals. All those things can be tackled. Similar things are available for endoscopy also. The simulators are available, and open surgery also we have devices like a freehand robotic training is available. So with that we are able to teach the importance of the anastomosis, because nothing like doing, because if I give a lecture or if I show you something, but it is nothing but you do it yourself, but it is difficult in a real patient. That's why we thought a simulation is the best alternative, where you can do hundreds of hours, then you can understand exactly what you are doing. See, for example, if you have a colonoscopy case tomorrow, then you just spend hours in this either St. Mark's colonoscopy model, or if you have ERCP, we have a specific Costa-Magna model like this, which has a typical the curve of the duodenum, and you can create an ampulla and you can cannulate, you can see the whole thing with something like a C-arm. All those things can be created and you can have a good cannulation performance in this one before you just venture into the real scenarios. And classical examples for animal model training, like for example live animal models are available like in ERCOT or even in our country, and we have several animal labs are available wherein you can teach your youngsters the importance how to do an access technique, dissection, use of energy devices, suturing or stapling. All those can be taught, but it is more expensive. And more recently we have the avenue like cadaver training, especially when you have the cadaver either with the soft embalming or deep freezing cadavers. So there is hardly any smell. There are beautiful cadaver labs are available across the country where either open laparoscopy or robotic surgery can be done in these situations. But I think now there is an increasing role for what I call the virtual reality or a high fidelity simulators like this, like a Symbionic simulators are available where you will be able to get the skill acquired, and also it does not need me as a trainer to be behind your back. It has its own module. It can tell you exactly what to do. At the end, if you go back, how much mark you scored and what are the mistakes you have done, then you can go and do it second time, third time. So until the time when you perfect the art. So you can do the skill assessment also yourself. So this is the beauty of this high fidelity models like GA Mentor, for example, for endoscopy, colonoscopy, ERCP and US. So you can tell this is a sigmoid Gann loop, pull back, then you reduce the loop, then you can proceed, then you can target and do a biopsy, and you can navigate by doing that. So it is having a joystick is actually like a real Pendex model endoscopy. So with that joystick, if you are able to perform, your competence is very good, and also you have so much of confidence next time when you really handle the real life situation. So now we are going through the transverse colon. So it is so much like a live colonoscopy you are doing. So people can take all the core motor skill, they can able to achieve the competence, and also you can assess their competence like even cannulating, whether he is cannulating the pancreatic duct or a bile duct in ERCP, all those things can be trained. But finally only we have to see how much of simulation or how much of the training you can give in a live animal or human. See, for example, here in a live colonoscopy session, I can teach all these things, but still if you give the same case to my assistants, and you will be restless as a trainer, and he as the trainee will be very much stressed because you are telling him, oh, don't go this way, that way, and also the patient will be uncomfortable, and we can't treat them as a guinea pigs as I mentioned. So there are potential risks, but there are distinct benefits, because all these things I can't teach them, especially in a simulated environment. In a real live patients only I can tell about the importance of the interpretation in a human situation, and also the importance of the communication. So though there is a problem of ethical, economic nature, but it is very, very good in a specific situation that actually most of my trainees, they would at least few cases they like to assist some live human cases before they go in. So it is not going to be replaced, like we have done several of such courses, and nothing like hands-on real life experience. All these postgraduates get a hands-on endoscopy in a patient. So because the quality of the training is more important than the quantity of the cases you do. The technical skill, communication skill and cognitive skill, all these things you need to teach them, and various models are coming, and across the globe there are various ways they teach. But at the end of the day, I think we need to embrace this simulation as a modality to teach, not only rely on the patient based training. In other words, we need to think smart, work smart, rather than doing a lot of hard work. So we are there at the top of the mountain, having climbed it painfully, but we can help you by fast track your travel in this Mount Everest by using all these models efficiently. And this is what we are trying to do, and this is where we wanted your inputs. Thank you.